So I want to talk about a manga that I recently finished because the final volume finally came out this month, and that is Soloist in a Cage. This manga right here, it's so good. I randomly picked this up at a comic book store, and the 3 volumes have been so good because it's only a 3-volume 20-chapter series, and the story that it tells is amazing, and like the artwork looks so goddamn good. But yes, let's talk about what Soloist in a Cage is about. So Soloist in a Cage is about a girl named Chloe who lives with her brother Locke, and they live in the prison city, which is this city that has 5,000 residents, or prisoners we could say, and it's a prison city, so everybody there, which is of course somebody that either committed a crime or they didn't commit a crime, they just live in this prison city, so like there's a lot of violence and other stuff here, but just no, they live by themselves. And one day Chloe's gonna hear like her neighbors, or like she kind of does hear it, that they're planning to escape, because their neighbors are the 3 people that have been working on the wall, because there's been a hole in the wall and nobody's ever escaped this prison at all. And they came up with this plan. They're like, yo, we're about to escape this prison. And somewhere around the lines, Chloe overhears them, and she's thinking like, yo, I actually want to get out of this apartment, because she's never left that apartment, because like she's 7 years old and her baby brother's like maybe 1, if that, or some type of months old. I don't think they really say how old her little brother is, but like she's never left the house because her parents both left and they've been there by themselves. And she's like, yo, you know what, I finally want to leave this house and actually go out into the world. She follows her 3 neighbors all the way to the wall, and like she goes there, and like the one guy that's the general, he has a soft side for them because like he has kids at home, and like he doesn't want to leave these kids, so he ends up helping Chloe. And like as they're climbing the wall, they're about to escape, but that's when Chloe drops her brother, and she's crying and screaming. And trust me, when the moment that happens is so sad, when she drops her brother, because like you're just like, no, because it was a very crazy moment. I was so sad when that first happened. But then we transition to years later, and we see that Chloe's about to go back into this prison because she wants to find her brother. And we see that she's on a train and she sees people, and then like when she first gets into the prison, just know she goes off, and we see that she's been training, but at the same time she does have a fear of fighting people because she is a scaredy cat. But at the same time, she's actually a crazy killer, and she can pop people left and right when it comes to like using knives. And we see that early on in the story when she first gets into that prison city. Now the story has a lot of interesting things in here, because one, there's a prison city that's full of all these different type of individuals, different criminals, some people that are probably not criminals, that are basically unjustly put into this prison. But like it's very fascinating, just like the world, because I think the idea of like a prison city that's been around for like years, and it has all these different people in here, and like there's men and women in here along with a lot of children, because we do see that like when Chloe gets in there, she meets like some of these other children that are here. And when it comes to like an overall villain in this series, there is a priest that's in this series that plays an important role, because like he's like the priest and everybody looks up to him like kind of like as a god and all this other stuff. And there's also like this blimp that might be being made that could be like an escape plan. But when it comes to Chloe, we see that she is determined to like find her baby brother, because one, she wants to find her brother because she does feel that sadness of leaving her brother, and that's why she comes back to this city and she has to go through all this scary stuff. And we see eventually if she's ever going to meet her brother or not, because when she gets there she can't find any traces of him. And there's also, when it comes to Chloe and like the people that she kills, we see that she starts having certain visions of some of the people that she's killed, so they're kind of like haunting her, and those bodies that she's caught are basically piling on top of her when it comes to like her mind and like mental strain, because like she's killing all these people, and like she's she's probably like somewhere in their teenage. I'll say she's somewhere between maybe 14, 15, I'm not sure exactly, but she's catching all these different bodies, so like that's going to take a toll on her, and we see throughout the series that it does. But when it comes to like the story when she's inside the prison, because there's a lot of interesting things that happens, because she meets up with these kids, and you find out that these kids are working in a factory, and like they're building this blimp because they have plans from like this one guy that promised that he was going to build the blimp and all that. So there's that plot too, and she's going to help them out along with like getting into other crazy fights. But yeah, this was a really great manga. For 20 chapters and 3 volumes, it was phenomenal. And like I said, the artwork looks so goddamn good. And just know, when you finally get to the end, it does feel like one of those endings that I wish there was a little bit more, just like maybe one more scene that we could have seen some, but at the same time it does feel fulfilling because we got the full story, and I like just how good it was in them short 3 volumes that it was, even though I can't really say they're short because some of them chapters were long though. But yeah, if you've read Soloist in a Cage, let me know how y'all feel about this manga, because to me it was really great and it was amazing. Like, I'm so happy I randomly picked this up, because when I was at the comic store, I just picked up the volume and I looked at it. I was like, because I was looking there because they had a whole bunch of manga and I was just skimming through stuff. I picked this one up, I looked at the artwork and I was like, oh my gosh, why does this look so good? So I kept skimming through and I was like, hey, I bought that. Then I read it all. It was phenomenal. Then I bought volume 2 and I got volume 3 in January because that's when it came out. But yes, it's an amazing read. If you want to see a journey of a girl that'll go anywhere to get her little brother, then this is the manga for you because it shows the journey that she takes. Because yes, she does have that heartbreak of leaving him, but like when she eventually, if she ever does find him, you see how much she'll go through to actually find her brother, especially in this prison. Because like this prison world is actually very crazy, especially when they introduce the church and the priests, and then you have executioners and all these other crazy areas. Because in the prison there's so many different sections that are sectored off, because there's certain things where they say children should not go, and she goes to one of the sections early on that says children don't need to go here because it's in a part where it's kind of like cannibals, and just know she is going to fight one of those cannibals and she does pack him up. But yeah, I really enjoyed this manga a lot, and I wish there was more than 3 volumes because I did like the story it told, especially like the prison, because we saw that there was robots there, and that was like one of the reasons why people have never broken out, because you have all these robots that are all scattered around the walls along with guns and all that. So like that's why people could never break out of that wall until the 3 people that did, because they found a escape and they knew how to get out of there. But just know when they finally make their last escape in volume 3, just know they take a blimp and they actually get out of there, besides like a few other moments because Chloe does fall, because Chloe does get hurt really bad because the one priest ends up ruining the plans that the kids had, because the kids were trying to like set up like the priest and they were trying to leave there because there was a big last meeting that the priest was going to have, that he was going to have in front of like all the people, and then eventually he was going to go on this blimp and leave everybody. But the kids like had a plan. They were trying to one up him, but then eventually he comes and one ups them, and then we see Chloe gets in a fight with the executioner. She fights them, and eventually her and the executioner like they go blow for blow, and that's when the priest shows up and he's like, yeah, I've always been one step ahead of you guys. But then eventually we're going to see that Chloe and the executioner is going to pack up almost everybody there, and then the priest gets killed because like this one guy ends up blowing up the whole place, and it was crazy. And then eventually just know who's going to come and like help out Chloe and them towards the end is the colonel and like his friends, because like they're worried about Chloe since she was going here on this journey by herself though. But yes, I really enjoyed this manga a lot and I like it a lot. This might arguably go on one of my favorite like short mangas of all time because it's so goddamn good. I will say this is most definitely a really good manga, and I will say it is a masterpiece in my opinion though, especially for only being 20 chapters. Yes, this is most definitely a masterpiece though. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, why not like? If you didn't, you could dislike, subscribe, really enjoyed. But yes, please read Soloist in a Cage if you haven't read it, because it's good, because I love the story. Especially if you love female main characters, then you'll love this one too. Especially if you love the idea of like family type of stories and having one individual in the family go as far as they can to save another individual in their family, then you'll really enjoy this one. And if you want to see like some crazy fights and some really great artwork, then you'll enjoy Soloist in a Cage a lot though. But thanks for watching. See you next video though. Bye.